iLya Kuvshinov, Eternal, one of the coolest art books I have ever purchased. A lot of great stuff in here, and let's just get started. If you want to turn off the audio, play some music, go ahead. I haven't actually flipped through this before, so this is gonna be new for me as well. And really nice intro, I love that. I love this artwork, this is my favorite. He has really cool podcasts, by the way. He was on the show for the Art Cafe, so if you want to check out more of iLya Kuvshinov and his way of thinking, then I highly recommend checking out his interview. I love the faces that he does. I love the anime style. And honestly, this entire book, if I could just live in this artwork and learn all the ways he was doing this, this is great. This is so great, and I love the presentation. I love the colors. It's really soft look, and I think it's very distinct too, because that's one of the things that, as much as I love anime, I love this side eye that she's giving. I love anime, but a lot of it looks kind of very similar. Ooh, look at this pattern. Look at the pattern. It's really hard to stand out within anime style because it looks very, very similar. This is very different from the stuff that he does. That's interesting. Maybe it was from a photo, actually. But yeah, a lot of times I see a lot of great anime artists and I love their work, but I don't remember who they are or how they do things because they all look very, very similar. So if you find your own style within the anime world, I love the framing of this. It goes like this way instead of left to right. You can definitely feel how great he works with the colors, how he blends a lot of things, and that's just one of those things you immediately recognize it. Oh, that's iLya Kuvshinov. You can't say no to this art style. And honestly, every time he does it, it just looks just a little bit different. And I think one of the things is also I noticed within his work, I don't know if he actually does it, but it feels like there's a lot of gradient map involved and coloring afterwards. Like this, I love this. This is so cool. That inverted face. You can tell that there's a lot of gradient map post-production involved, and a lot of people stay away. This looks like one of those not barbershop, but the hair salons posters, in a good way. This looks very inspired much. Yeah, a lot of times people stay away from gradient maps, so this is for sure that it looks like a gradient map when you go from black and white and then you colorize afterwards, and people stay away from it because it's a very hard look to modify later, but he just does it. He just keeps doing it and plays around with the negative space too. You can see that he's just removing some items, but it's still there. You can tell a lot of things. Oh, I love that he does landscapes as well. I've never seen his landscapes before. I think these are great, and especially his work with black. He's not afraid of looking into his work and just leaving everything black and just having the negative shape. Like it doesn't even compare, or just pure whites. It doesn't even add the background, which is one of those great things that just keeps the art minimalistic enough. And there we go, the sci-fi cyberpunk stuff. I love this. And there's a lot of text that I will probably not read ever in my life, because a lot of art books, they're full of text, but then you're kind of like, I just want to look at the pictures, you know? Can't go wrong with pictures. Oh, this looks straight from like a movie, like Suzume or something. This is great. And here's more traditional work. Well, it's most likely digital, but the way he does it looks more traditional. It's like way less polished compared to like stuff like this. I think this is great. And you can see that there's a lot of purples and pinks in his work too, which is honestly, this is too as well like my favorite color. Pinks and purples and soft reds I don't know what this is. It's like a hat or just a shape, but it does a lot. Beautiful landscape and a bunch of cool anime girls. This straight looks from like 2000s, early 2000s, like cartoon animation styles. I can't even remember like what movies were like this, but there's definitely like a feel to it, like the dirty kind of faded look, and I love that style so much. I think we really missed out on that era, to be honest. Like there's so many shows and TV shows that still come out with that style, very rarely, but when they do come out, you can definitely feel that early 2000s influence. Oh, it's a 7-Eleven probably. I was trying to paint something like this the other day too. It was so hard to get the reflective floor off of it. It's crazy. And I love the reds. And I love how he combines the reds and it blends in with the scarf, so it just creates this like flow within the artwork. And he says that he works in the Japanese industry for 3 years already, which props to him. Honestly, there's very little amount of artists who are willing to relocate like this, move to another country and accept the way the new culture is. I know visiting Japan is really cool, but from what I've heard, it's been really rough on some people, especially culturally and being accepted and making friends. I think that's one of the biggest things. And I know this too because I love the movement on this. Because I have myself moved from another country to United States, and it hasn't been the easiest. Even 10 years later, it feels like I'm doing something wrong sometimes, like I'm not up to par with the environment that I'm in or the people I'm in, and you always just question yourself, like, what am I doing right or what am I doing wrong? Ooh, you can, I don't know if the camera is going to pick up, but you can definitely like look. There's a little bit of the silhouette of the black, different shade over here, very slightly, but you can feel it. Ooh, I love the blacks on this one, like very, very strong traditional look to it. But yeah, a lot of times you don't make specific connections or friends and you missed out on things and you think to yourself like, did I do it right, or is it just that person wasn't really good and they just don't want to be friends with you? Or is it because I moved here and then there's something context I'm missing? And that feeling just haunts you every time. It does not go away, unfortunately. And also I love iLya Kuvshinov work so much, mainly because I really struggle with faces a lot. That's like one of my, this movement of, it's really hard for me to get the faces right. Oh, doggo. Doggo would be barking outside. So whenever I look at this work, I'm amazed by how simple some of the work is. Oh, this is like straight up from like Instagram 2007. This is great. I don't know if Instagram was around back then. I can't remember already. But this looks like a photography from back then. But yeah, I struggle with faces so much, and a lot of iLya Kuvshinov's work, you can tell how easily he creates it. Not easily, but with less detail. He doesn't overwork it, which is one of the main things that I notice. There's not that many brush strokes, so there's not that many things that are covering the canvas. And his work is just very minimalistic. Like, you can tell there's nothing here. This is just pure white. And just the face features. And then the entire portrait is done. And I know it sounds so simple, and it feels like I'm trying to cheapen his work in a way, but not really. Because getting the simple stuff out is probably one of the hardest things too, because look at that. This barely has 1, 2, 3. That's it. There's nothing else on this image that is detailed as much. You can definitely tell that he works on top and he fixes later. Like, he doesn't just start to finish and just finishes his work. Like, it's not how that works. But when he is finished, he does remove all of the unimportant details, and everything feels so minimalistic. Look at that. This is literally just 4 dots over here in the right perfect placement, And it looks like a perfect anime face. I am in awe with this. Really cool effect. Balloons. I love the balloons. I love the purples and the... I love his eyes too. You can definitely see the distinct eye style for his. Maybe the rest of the portraits that he does are like very, very good and normal, and you can probably mix it up with someone else's artwork. But when you look at the eyes, that is number one thing that you just look at his ArtBook Kuvshinov. That's him. That because of the eyes, because if he does the eyelashes and the pinks and the purple, and you just can't go wrong with it. Look right here, he didn't even fill in the color for the shoes. He kept it minimal, he kept it simple. And these are so great. This is more like American style comics, and I love this, like fashion style. I think that's where my work should be going towards if I'm ever gonna do this. And this looks like a watercolor imitation. That's great. And if he does them in watercolor too, like I would not be surprised. I just can't tell at this point. Technology is so great these days that you can fake watercolor and digital and mix it up, and you can't even tell if it's traditional or not. I love the cat in the suit. It's so cute. Like this looks great. This looks amazing. Is it Clip Studio Paint or Photoshop watercolor brushes, or is it real watercolor? I wouldn't be able to tell anymore. I think that's like also the beauty of art books, is that you just have to figure it out for yourself. You don't know where it's going. Aw, look at this one. I love the colors on this one. Just a little orange scarf. Okay, well, here, come on. You can't tease me like this. If there's a cat boy in the book, I'm buying the book. You can't. Come on. This is too much. This is too great. This is too great. And the sketches. Oh, look, traditional. Yeah, look at the sketches. Look at how little line work he does for the right one, for example. And here's the anime work. You definitely can tell that it's like animation style because of the little shading lines. It's awesome. I wish there was more of this in the industry. Not like in the industry, but people showing the process of doing like from 0 to 100. From all the way, from starting to sketch, showing like the most basics. That guy looks cool. I mean, that little nose ending looks like a anteater animal, but besides that, I think he looks super scary. Oh, look at them costumes. They're just like so puffy. Yeah, I can't tell if this is from a show or a movie. Maybe I heard he was working on the movie like a long time ago, on like almost the entire set design for everything, and he said it was a super exhausting and a lot of work, but he loved every minute of it. And I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome. And I don't think that movie did so well, sadly, but you can definitely tell he put his soul into it, and just so much work has went into it. And I think that's another thing. You can really tell that he just does it to 100%. He does not skip a day. He doesn't just doodle. Or, well, maybe he just puts up his latest work, but you can definitely tell he's not being lazy when he creates these. No matter like what happens, he just does his 100%. And a lot of times you can tell when the artist is not there that day. He just needs a break, and everyone needs a break at some point. There's so much horrible, heavy stuff going on every day. So you do need a break to relax and not worry about things. But whenever you draw, that's like one of those things. And this is the best part too, is no matter what happens, after looking at this book, I want to get inspired. I want to draw and I want to create, and I think that's one of the most important parts. When you look at someone's work and you just feel it, you just want to create. Look at that. Look, this is my favorite. The back shots with the highlights in the hair with the reds. You can definitely tell. Oh, look at the little reflections of her hat into the face with the little holes. You just create something. You create something afterwards, whether that be a movie or drawing, photography, anything. It's just something that I miss already, and whenever I look at someone's work, there's two ways I can look at it. I think it goes, oh wow, that person's super skilled. I'll never achieve that. Or the other way, I go, oh wow, this person has made this amazing artwork. I want to create something now. I want to just sit down and do something right now, because if he made this, I can make something else that is just as awesome. And when I look at ArtBook Kuvshinov's work, that's what I feel. I feel inspired. I feel like I can do so many things, because it looks simple enough. It looks easy enough that, oh, maybe I can do it too. And again, obviously it's not simple. Oh, I love this one. It feels so gestural. Not even gestural, but just simple. Just minimalistic. I would not be able to know how she puts this whole suit on, to be honest, but you know. A lot of work with black. And there we go. This is the last page, I think. Nothing else afterwards. Oh, there's a little portrait over here. And I don't want to break the cover, so I'm not gonna. This is probably another portrait that is really awesome. Oh, that's probably this. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. I hope whoever has this book in the future will enjoy this just as much as I did.